Ooh.
Okay. My cheeks are like already hurting. I'm so into this episode. I cannot even. So this is a pretty special episode for me, but also I know for a lot of people who are going to need this episode, and I am all about it. So I am very excited to welcome to the podcast Dr. Rachel Jalanivich. How do you say your last name?
Yeah, it looks fancier than it is. It's literally just like it's spelled, Jalanivich. Everyone tries to make me fancier, which I don't mind, but
I had a split second just now. I was like, things I should ask before we hit record. Like, how do you say your name? But anyways, Rachel, welcome to the podcast.
I'm more impressed when people get it right, to be honest.
I love it.
No.
We're so happy here. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Well, why don't you tell us before we get into all this is going to be, we don't know how long this is going to go. We're not sure because we have so much we could talk about. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of where you're at in life.
Okay, so I am a pelvic floor physical therapist and I own Empowered Physical Therapy. It's based in Lake Stevens. I started the practice in June, ? June, July. I feel like I should know that answer. I started this past year. And so I'm not quite a year old in my own practice, but I've been in the field of PT. I don't really know when to start counting. Like, do I start counting from my high school internships? Do I start counting from when I was a physical therapy assistant and because that's valid. That's part, right?
I say do it, count it.
Depending on when you count things. I mean, I've either been practicing for 15 years or 10 or, whatever, 3 with the doctorate. I've been in the field for most of my life.
I love it so much. And I feel like we should pause here. That's my new word right now. By the way, is pause and just say that I feel like you and I are like kindred spirits, soulmates, and we may go off into tangents because we are totally each other's people.
We'll try really hard to not, but
we can't make any promises, guys, but we're going to try really hard. We're going to try really hard. I love that. Can you tell us what got you started in health? I would love to know pelvic health.
So pelvic in particular. So I was probably, it's been a long journey to get here. So I was probably 13 years old and I don't know if you guys can't see me on a podcast, but I am short and I am not long and gazelle-like and built for speed, but I was running track and it obviously didn't become my, life calling to sprint and to do those things. But I was trying my hardest to keep up with the tall kids. And, I would pee when I ran and when I tried really, really hard and I would leak. And I grew up my whole life with my mom telling me, oh, don't make me laugh. You'll make me pee and so I just thought maybe this is genetic. Maybe I just have a genetic issue and definitely not going to talk to anyone about it. Definitely not going to talk to my mom. Didn't want her to know that there's something wrong with me too. I didn't know. I definitely wasn't going to talk to when you're a kid and you're a teenager and it's super awkward, but your parents go with you to every medical appointment. So even if you want to tell the doctor something, you're not going.
Oh my gosh, those years are so hard.
So hard. It's so awkward. It's and I get it. Now that I'm an adult and I'm not a mom yet, but I can understand how you would definitely not leave your kid alone in an exam room with a doctor.
Right.
But what's the kid supposed to do if they are embarrassed to tell the doctor or you something? Yeah. Anyways, so I didn't tell anyone for 10 years and I started having really bad hip pain and I had really, really, really bad hip pain. And on my worst days, I could barely walk. And so I finally said something then. And so by that time I was 23. I was already a physical therapy assistant and I was in the Navy.
That's crazy.
So I already knew something was wrong, but I still intermittently would leak when I laugh, cough, sneeze, run, jump. And I was like, this is so weird. I thought this was just for people who had babies. And maybe it's just genetic because my mom does.
So many of my friends right now are listening to you. Is that not normal? That's normal, right?
Not normal. I don't care 100%. No, if 100% of women have.
We're going to talk about that. What is normal? Oh yeah. I love it.
Not normal. And it wasn't normal for a 13-year-old kid. And it's not normal for you postpartum. And it's not normal for anybody to you should be able to retain urine. That's literally the whole point of your sphincters. And you're they're not working, then there's something wrong. So I finally at 23 was in so much pain. I had to get an MRI. They found that I had a labral tear.
Mhm.
I mentioned to somebody, yeah, sometimes I have leaking. And they were like, well, okay, so since you have a hip issue and also you leak, let's just send you to our pelvic specialist. And now when you're in the military and most people are in a physical therapy gym, the pelvic specialists are like these creepy women down the hall in the back room behind closed doors. And I was like, sure, I guess I'll go see her. I don't know what she does, but like, I don't really care at this point. My hip really hurts. And,
Mhm.
you know, a decade ago, if you went to physical therapy for pelvic floor stuff, we didn't know a lot. And
Mhm.
the field was, I mean, the field is still in its infancy. I think we really got going in the 60s. So like that's relatively a newer field. And bless their hearts, they, you know, they gave us Kegels. And
Mhm.
for a lot, and I don't want like, and then like they gave everyone Kegels for a while, and then everyone realized, oh, these don't work for everybody. Don't, and sometimes they make people worse. So like, no
Mhm.
one do Kegels now. And like the Kegel pendulum is now kind of settling to some normalcy of like, yes, some Kegels are great for some people, or all people sometimes, not always. It's
Mhm.
just, it's like, we got to find who's appropriate. Are they doing it correctly? Like, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, bless her heart, she gave me Kegels. Didn't help a bit. It did help my hip, not the Kegels, but other stuff we did help my hip pain, leaking continued. And it took years and like a doctorate level education for me
Mhm.
to like figure out that no, my pelvic floor wasn't just weak, I was overholding. So I was like
Mhm.
essentially pre-Kegeled all day long. And I was, you know, so of course my pelvic floor then couldn't Kegel when I needed it to, or
Mhm.
couldn't function. You can't function with a muscle that's being held in contraction all day long.
Mhm.
So to realize that, I mean, you're welcome for my free knowledge, because this took me 15 years and a doctorate degree to figure out. So maybe I can give you the knowledge
Love it.
without you having to spend $200,000 and 15.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I'm here for you. But yeah, and this,
Um,
so that's not even, ironically, that's not even the reason I wanted to go to pelvic PT, because
oh.
I didn't have a good experience. I was like, this girl wanted me to do Kegels. It didn't really help. She's talked to me about breathing. It's like, how is that going to make me run without leaking? That's
Right.
ridiculous. So I just dealt with it, and I just like, I could feel when I was about to leak. And so I just wouldn't run that fast, or I just wouldn't
Mm.
run as far, or I would just stop and I'm like, okay, great, I guess I'm done. But then, you know, when you're in the military, sometimes you don't have that option of stopping and just being done. So then you just like, well, fuck, I hope no one looks. Like, sorry, I'm I'm sorry, I cuss, guys.
We're good.
I'll
I'm
try
gonna already tell the parents. I'm gonna already tell them,
not
don't.
the
This
episode
isn't
for
the
your,
episode for kids.
no,
We're
this is
just everyone.
just
Just it's
like
okay.
adults only. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're fine. You're
Sorry.
fine. I
Just
just feel
remember,
like the subject matter isn't going to be the episode for kids anyways. So I think we're safe. We're safe.
also that. So, I still had a bad experience, and I was like, okay, that's hokey, didn't really work. I wanted to work with people who had gotten their legs blown off. I wanted to
Mm.
work with prosthetics and orthotics. And I'm also
Mhm.
like really DIY power tool girl. So I totally thought I would dig that stuff. And then I took
Mhm.
a prosthetics and orthotics class in college, in my doctorate program, and I hated it. I thought, this is the stupidest thing. I don't care about this, the technicalities between this orthotic and that prosthesis and this one and that one. And this one's better because it has
Did
a
not get you excited.
station. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't care. I hate it. And I was sitting around a table with some women who I really, really respected, and they were really smart. These are like really smart women who I've known for a really long time. These are like women, like they not in the medical field, doctorate level degrees in other fields, masters in other fields, people who like, they're smart women. And someone said, don't make me laugh, you're gonna make me pee. And they all laughed and ha ha ha, me too. And I said, hey guys, this was probably like the first semester of my doctorate program. I was like,
Yeah.
hey guys, you know that's not normal, right? And they all rolled their eyes at me and they said, you just wait, you wait till you have a baby, you're gonna be just like us. And I didn't have the balls right then to say, well, I'm already like you. So what does that do? What is that saying about me? Does that mean I'm just going to be worse? Does that mean I'm just going to
Right.
bladder loss after I have
Oh my
kids?
gosh.
What am
Yeah.
I supposed to do? And so it was that moment that I thought to myself, fuck, I have to do this now.
Yeah.
I thought, oh no, I'm destined for this now. Like, I can't, like, if this was
Yeah.
what
You saw like a mission
yes,
to like, yes, I love that.
whoa, oh no, this is what the smart ones think. Like, if this is what they think, this is a systemic issue.
Oh
And
my
I
God.
literally thought those words. I was like, no, these are smart women. They can't think that. That means it's systemic. And I was like, this visceral, like, shit, I have to do this.
Yeah. What a moment.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh." I'm obviously changed my tune and I'm very passionate about it now, but I did not want to be.
We're not interested. Yeah.
It's like, this is so weird. I'm sorry, but like, it's very intimate.
I don't want to be the creepy lady down the hall.
Crazy lady. And I was like, oh no. And it's really funny because looking back, my whole life, it's led to this. Like, I was always the girl who had no issue being like, hey guys, I gotta go poop. Like, I'll be back. Like, I've never had an issue talking about poop and pee and sex. And I was always the very open friend to talk about those things. And it makes so much sense that this is where I landed.
Mm-hmm. Because you are able to open that door of dialogue to those who were like me, which we'll talk about my story, but like, what is a pelvic floor physical? Like, I was like, there's physical therapy for, yeah. I mean, it's like mind blowing when you first hear it. So
I know. And it's like, what do they do? It must be Kegels, right?
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Much more than Kegels.
Yeah.
And like, for most of my patients, I mean, yes, for most of my patients, I'd like to progress them towards some sort of strength training for those muscles if they need it. A lot of my patients don't need it. And like, a subsection of my patients, I'm not going to estimate numbers here, but subsection of my patients literally need the opposite of Kegels.
Yeah.
They have enough strength. They do not need that. They need to learn how to let their pelvic floor relax.
Yeah.
And that's literally the
understand.
homework. Is like, we actually need to train your pelvic floor to let go.
Yeah.
And so if it keeps turning back on, then we have to figure out, okay, why is it turning back on? Is it coming from your foot? Is it coming from your back? Is it coming from your diet, your hormones, like your stress, your past trauma? Like, where do I need to send? What do I need to do? Can I give it to you? Do I need to refer you on? Like, what is going on? So yeah, that's how
my gosh. I think it's so cool. And you can tell there's just, I mean, you guys, you're not seeing her. We were talking earlier and saying, cause she has like show and tell. So we might just go ahead and put this out on my YouTube channel. But for the moment, I just want you to know, like, the joy that comes across your face when you can tell that you're helping so many people is just like,
it's so exciting. It's so exciting because I mean, I will always be the girl who's not afraid to broach the tough topics and talk about food. And like, cool, you got this going on. Great. Let's dive into that.
Yeah, we need.
It's not embarrassing. It's like literally pooping, peeing, and sex is a normal human experience. I don't know why there's so much shame involved with it.
No.
Ridiculous.
So this will kind of bridge us into my story.
Right.
It's funny because I one-on-one, I will tell anyone the story. I'll tell anyone. This right now, like, I didn't know I'd be nervous, but I'm like, ooh, like, we're putting it out there.
We're doing it. We're on the interwebs.
This is a total God thing. It's been a long time coming, and I know this is the time. So I told Rachel that I'm going to just give our Reader's Digest version, because this could take, is a very long process. So we don't need to go into all the things, but I will say that I discovered on my honeymoon that I had a problem. So leading up to my honeymoon, I was a virgin, and on my honeymoon, it was evident that there was extreme pain, like extreme, and debilitating, blackout levels pain. What's happening to me? What's going on? I'm so confused. Let's go eat some poo-poos down on the veranda, because this is confusing. Like, it was a lot. And I just want to say that my husband has blessed me talking about it if it helps other people. And he is the world's best husband, because that was just the beginning, the beginning.
Right. Because now we have to figure out why that's happening.
Yes. So this is really, huge part of my story is I didn't go figure out. So I went to the doctor. Because let's all remember, I was very young, 21. And I really, you and I talked about it before, but I was not comfortable with my own body at that age. Like, I was 21, I was a virgin, I was young, I was scared, all the things. And so I went to the doctor, and she did an exam, and which had always been really hard for me, but I again thought that was normal, and that it just hurt like that for everyone. And at that point in my life had only really had a couple. I didn't, had not been sexually active, so I didn't have a lot of needs for gynecological exams. And so I went to her and she said, well, you look pink and normal. Here's a prescription for Xanax. You just need to relax. So that was the advice I got. Now I want everyone to remember this was 24 years ago.
Dismissive. But that's so dismissive. You just need to relax. You're like, I was relaxed. Girl, I was on my honeymoon. I was having sex.
Oh my gosh. So that was within a month of our wedding day. And what I did was shut down. So I literally came back from that appointment, tried a few more times, always so painful. Xanax just made me fall asleep, guys. Xanax is not the thing for me. It did not help anyone. And I went into a really, really, really dark place, like just listen, everyone, 7 years. So we would try. It would be so painful. I would end up in tears and basically the fetal position because it just hurt so much. I then was so confused. And of course, I want to be
intimate with
loving and intimate with my husband, and I can't figure out what's wrong with me. So we would, it would bubble up. We'd try to figure it out, and then I would just shut back down again. So we'd probably go like every few months, every 6 months, and it was just this thing that lived in our marriage, and it was so painful, so painful. And again, world's most amazing husband. And
that's the whole in sickness and in health thing.
Yes. And we would, we're very loving marriage. Like we would do other things, but we could not do that.
You could have intimacy in other ways, but not intercourse.
Nope. Penetration itself was
a no-go. Yeah.
So, and when I say pain, so much pain, but also it was like a brick wall. Like there was nothing was going to happen. Even if I could relax,
and
like nothing.
Is standard vaginismus terminology of every single patient. They're not talking to each other, but they all say there's a wall. There's something there.
Yes.
All of them. They literally come in and be like, is there something there that you can feel? Because there's something. Like all of them say the same thing.
And I know this is gonna be a super open episode, but I just need everyone, you and I talked about this, but like, I wasn't even about to get a mirror and check anything. Like there was nothing. I was so not okay. Like so not okay. So, anyways, we were like that for 7 years until I really just got to rock bottom. I was at that point, 27, 28. All my friends were having babies. I really lived and probably the worst part was just this place of like, I just felt like I was lying to the world because everyone assumed we were normal. I'm doing air quotes for anyone who can't see it. Normal, healthy, newlywed couple. And really we weren't. Like we were all like lovingly, but like not in that space. And so when you start, so when you start having friends who have kids, then
it's like this elephant in the room.
Yes.
Like, we would love to also have kids.
Yes. We can't do the one thing that it takes.
Right. And I mean, now there's like, you could have other procedures done, but like, that's not how you guys wanted to do things.
Well, and I couldn't, to this point still, I didn't even know I had no idea. I did not know anything medically was wrong with me. Like you and I talked about it, but
what prevented you from talking to your doctor about it?
Yeah. So
because for me, for sure, like I thought maybe this is normal because my mom, and then I thought also like I just couldn't go talk to the doctor about it. And then by the time I could, and I was old enough to, and going to the doctors on my own, it was like, well, I just deal with this, and it's not that big of a deal that I only leak a little bit sometimes, and I can pretty much avoid most of that.
I think for me, it was. Well, first of all, that first doctor did dismiss me. And so I thought I was crazy. I started thinking that,
and so you did. Yeah, that's right. You did see somebody and they dismissed you.
Yeah. So I thought I was broken. I thought I was crazy, but and you and I kind of talked about it before we hit record, but I honestly was like, is something wrong with me? Like emotionally, like, is there something, am I withholding myself from my husband? And am I, I'm just going to use the word because I think it's important. Am I frigid? Like, do I not want to, I hate that word, hate it. I want to be very clear about that, but
trigger word for you. Got it.
Trigger word for me. But that is also a huge part of my story, are the lies that you start to tell yourself, and yeah. And then let's just heap on the pile of that. I don't know what the statistic is, but so many women that go through what we're going to talk about, like what I have, their husbands leave them. And so that was always this thing over, like, I just always thought that's what was going to happen. Like,
I need to deal with this or he'll leave me.
Yes. And of course now I can't even, like,
a lot of pressure.
It's yes. And so, every month I'd get my period. I was like, yep, I still can't do the thing I should be able to do. And
too.
Yeah, I'm like, honestly, like every woman's able to do this and I can't do this. I can't do what a woman's able to do.
And that make you feel less like a woman.
Oh my gosh. So much guilt, so much shame, so much fear. I was living in so much fear from this medical condition that I didn't know I had all the lies, the lies, spiraling out of control. So it got to this point where
there's a point. What happened?
Yes.
What was the thing?
Well, someone really close to me got pregnant. Ooh. And it's kind of funny because it was like, and it doesn't matter. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered who, but for some reason it was like one more time that I realized I don't know how I'm going to ever get beyond this. And besides the fact that I desperately wanted to be a mom, but I also desperately wanted to have this with my husband. Like, I wanted healing. I wanted quality of life. And it got to the point where I thought, I'm living this huge lie that everyone thinks we're having sex, and that now people are asking if we're infertile. I'm like, I literally don't know. Like, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. Yeah. So it hit a breaking point. And I mean, I will never forget that night. Like, it's going to make me cry now. I'll never forget the night that I drove home from, it was an event, and, I'd found out someone was pregnant, and I drove home, and I literally, for the first time ever, because I didn't think God wanted to be a part of that part of my life. Like, I didn't know that he cared about my pelvic health. Like, that was not like a thing. And so my mom's calling me.
I love that. She knew.
Leave it in the episode. She knows the story. But she was that my husband was the only person on the planet that knew this was a problem. Couldn't tell anyone else. And so it got to the point where I just remember surrendering it to him. Like, yeah. I don't know what's wrong with me. I know I cannot do this on my own. I cannot do this on my own. And by you, I'm sure I've heard this from your patients. I bought all the books. I bought all the, I thought my problem was I didn't want to be intimate. I thought that was my problem. And you guys, this was 24, 25 years ago when this whole thing started. The internet literally had just started. Like, there
weren't a lot of books written about that.
There were no books, and Google searches were not as you don't know how good you've got it.
The dial-up internet, right? With this
for real. And so I just hit this point, and I just remember that was the moment where I just heard this voice, like, you have to talk to somebody. You have to talk to somebody, period. And even then, it was terrifying to even say the words out loud. I'd never said the words out loud to another soul. And I, of course, approached my husband, and I was like, honey, I think I got to get help. Like, we are not fixing this on our own, and I can't keep going. I want you guys to realize this is 7 years in. We've not been able to consummate our marriage. Like, it's not happening. And so he, of course, was like, I think you're right. I think we're to that point where, it's not working. And so anyways, this part of the story is like, total weird scenario, but I felt open enough to talk to this human that is now one of my dearest, closest, best friends, but we weren't even that close at the time. So it was a very strange, like,
I'm going to talk to you.
say something to you. It was a moment we were having and I just felt safe. So like you talked about in your practice, you want to feel safe. And so anyways, I shared it with her. And the very first thing she said is you need to talk to somebody. And so then of course,
that's what I'm doing. I picked you.
Yes, no, you're it. You're the one.
You're it. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, that's your job. That's your job. And so anyways, through a series of like a lot of prayer and like really honestly getting the courage up to dial that phone to call my doctor, which you guys like, that's why I wanted Rachel on, because like I didn't know, who am I calling? Like, I don't even know who to call. Like, am I mentally a head case? Am I physically? I do not know what's going on. So I ended up calling my gynecologist. That's what they're called.
Gynecologist.
OBGYN. Anyways, I ended up calling her. She got me in touch with intimacy counselor, like a therapist. Yes, I know. So we started counseling. This is kind of the funny part of the story, because remind you, this is like all built up. I'm going to get to like the medical part here now, but all built up. And I sit down with him for the first time and he's like, what's something that somebody wouldn't know about you that you think I should know? And
you just let it out. Yeah.
Poor guy.
And this is the intimacy counselor?
What was that?
This is the intimacy counselor?
Yes. So he's the intimacy counselor. And it was just me. Like, I just needed to go see someone. And at that point, he was really like, well, and I said to him, I'm like, everyone thinks I'm perfect and I'm not, I'm a mess. And like, I cried all the time back then. I was always crying all the time. So anyways, so long story short now, for the next year I spent with him, then we started reaching out into other areas. Like, I think it's time for you to go back to the doctor now that you're like calm, that you can like breathe, so we started going to a doctor. I mean, you guys, I did tantric specialist. I did the rapid eye therapy. I did everything to try to get like to a point where I could talk about this stuff. That was huge. And that's why I wanted Rachel on, because so many people do not know that there are people out there that are specialists that will totally help you with this. So now fast forward through a series of doctors, I finally got to a specialist who got me to another specialist and then another specialist. And at this point I'm diagnosed, and I will never forget that day when, now we're 9 years in. So it took me another couple.
Yeah.
Huge, right?
To get a name, to name the condition that you've got. That's huge.
Oh my gosh, it's huge, which I just found out from you is it's changed. So
yeah, they change names a lot.
This will be like a whole new day for me. This will be so exciting. But I just remember having that label and knowing that it was actually a medical condition, which made me feel so much more
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a mess, you guys.
It's not embarrassing when you're like, oh my gosh, there's a name for it. That means other people have this.
With doctors that actually go to school to learn about it.
Yeah. Someone studied this, someone knows what, and then that gives hope of like, oh, now someone's going to know how to fix it then.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I just cried and cried and cried and cried the whole way home. And we're like 9 years in at this point, maybe 9.5. But anyways, so I have two conditions. One is, I've always called it vestibulitis. It is, what is it called now, Rachel?
Now they're calling vestibulitis. They're calling it provoked vestibulodynia, so vestibulodynia can be provoked or unprovoked. What you've described to me is a provoked vestibulodynia.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I have that. And then paired with that, which makes it super fun, I have vaginismus, which is probably what you spent a lot of time with people on.
They tend to go together.
Yes.
But when you talked about hitting a wall, that is like textbook vaginismus.
Yes. Yeah. So vaginismus is the muscle spasms. Like it basically, there's no Fort Knox. There's no getting it. Yeah. It just clamps up.
Thing you can control. I heard recently someone describe it as like, if someone was going to touch your eyeball, there's no not blinking. Like there's no not
just shut your eye. Yeah.
Not like something that you're doing. It's just, nope, I'm going to shut my eyelid. I'm not going to allow you to touch my eyeball with
That is such a good description of it, because it's completely involuntary. Like I didn't
want to have
it was even happening.
Turned on.
Yeah.
and this could still be happening.
Yes. And that's exactly what was going on. And so, and then of course, so much fear built up at that point that even if, there was nothing was happening. So get to this specialist. So I have vestibulitis, provoked vestibulodynia. I think that's a much longer name, but okay, whatever. And
well, because it's not necessarily an inflammatory condition.
right.
Vestibulitis is inflammatory. So
that makes sense.
I think that's why they changed the name, is like, that doesn't always fit.
Apply. Yeah.
And so vestibulodynia, dynia means pain.
Yeah.
So vestibule, the vestibule, the entrance of your vagina, pain at the vestibule, and provoked means with touching. So touching, they have pain at the entrance.
Right. I love this. This is so, this is what I wanted you here for. I love you so much. Okay. So, it basically, for those listening, it is like a feather touch feels like a dagger, like a knife going in. And mine in particular is towards the perineum. So it's at the bottom of
6 o'clock.
the rear, guys. So if you look towards the bottom, I on both sides have probably the size of the end of an eraser, like on a pencil. Yeah. That's it. But you would think that that just knives are going all throughout my entire body because it's that sensitive. Yeah. I have had, I'll tell you all the things at this point.
I'm like itching to talk, but I want
I know you're going to ask me all the things, but I've had the most successful thing. Well, so my doctor who's now retired, but he was the chief of medicine for women at UW. Cool. And he's good. The reason I have my voice.
I bet he's good.
Oh,
he sounds good.
My heart. I would recommend him to people, but apparently he's done now, whatever. But he, he was able to pinpoint. So for the first time in my whole experience, they were doing leading up to this, you guys, a lot of things they throw at it are tricyclic antidepressants. So gabapentin was a really big one, which did not do the trick for me. A lot of steroids, a lot of, trying to thin the skin, trying to calm down the nerve, all the things. They're doing all the things and they're trying to get it like, you know what I mean? But when I got to him, he could my first visit with him, I could tell a whole other story where I had seen him years before for something else and he caught that it hurt. And he's like, is it supposed to do this? And 5 years earlier. And I was like, or no, he said, does it always do this? And Chad and I looked at each other. We lied. We're like, nope, we were not in a place to talk about it.
You weren't ready to talk about it.
Crazy to think that I could have totally told him in that moment.
5 years earlier.
Whatever. Anyways, we're moving on. So crazy. But this is why this episode's going to take long because there's not really a short way to tell the story. But anyway, so I got to the point where meeting with him, he could first visit, he went right to it. I mean, I just about flew off the table, but he knew right where to go. So he would end up doing steroid injections in that spot.
Okay.
That's correct, everyone.
Ow.
Yeah.
But they would lidocaine that area first.
Yeah, that was the worst part, of course, was the
really? Because did they lidocaine with a needle or a topical?
They did with a needle. Yeah, they did because they had to do it in multiple spots the whole time. So it's a really painful process. However, it was the first thing to actually give me some sort of semblance of relief. But he had me also going to pelvic PT.
What did they do for your pelvic PT?
Yes. So we did biofeedback. Okay. So we did biofeedback. Now, keep in mind, this was 15 years ago. So
yeah, I kind of, for those of you on the podcast, I kind of cringed a little.
I know.
But it's okay. It's okay. Keep going.
So biofeedback, of course, they had me doing Kegels because that's what we do.
That's what they did back then.
That's what we did.
We were doing Kegels together, 2013. You and
totally. They would do, I ended up actually with a really good one. And she would do, you kind of like, you tell me what it is, but she kind of would go in and kind of manipulate or kind of stretch that muscle a little bit.
I don't want to call it massage because vaginal
but that's what it is.
Like a really gross phrase that I don't want to be associated with. But we're doing manual techniques, whether we're doing like a pin and stretch or whether we're doing like a pin down the spot or whether we're like physically moving along the fibers. Like we're doing manual techniques to the pelvic muscles, which is we do access through one of 2 points, either the vagina or the
showing us everyone. She's showing us.
Showing you a pelvic floor. But like these muscles go from the front to the back. So it's like I need a better light in here. We go from the front to the back. We can either pin and hold finger in one spot and have your legs moving around us, or we can have you breathing, or we can do visceral techniques with our other hands or something. And like do a bimanual treatment, internal, external, or we can like move this around, or we can figure out what works best to help that muscle calm for you. And that is, I don't like the term massage, but it's essentially.
Imagine that's kind of what it is. And I feel like we need to relieve tension for anyone that it's in any way, sensual.
It is
clinical.
Very, very clinical, and it would be weird for us too.
Let's just clear that space.
Thankfully, I've never had any patient make it weird. And it is one of those things that's only weird if you make it weird. When we're talking very clinically and I'm like, hey, how does this feel for you right here? Okay, great. How does it feel now? If I change this thing that I'm doing, how's it now? How's it this? And it is very like, you aren't in stirrups. I sit next to you on the table and like you're draped, I gotta aim, first, but then we're draped after. But it's very like, it's very professional.
And I think that the as a patient, I just want to, coming from a patient perspective, I just want to like let people know, like, you're living in this fear maybe that it is going to be weird for you or anything, and that it's just so not. It is
a
game
little
changer.
But it can be weird, but also effective.
Yes, exactly.
Or it can be a little weird, but not like uncomfortable weird.
Right.
This is weird, but I'm not mad about it.
Yeah. Well, and I know
a little weird. We can be the weird lady in the back room.
We can do that. It's fine.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
It's really effective.
It is really effective. And it's changed my life.
So what did you respond to the best?
Well, so dilators.
Okay.
Was probably the best thing that helped me. So dilators, we're just going to open it all up here. So dilators,
I can go get them. I've got them.
Yeah. Bring them on. Of course you have them. Of course she has them. I'm just going to keep talking about them. So dilators are typically gradual sizes.
My whole box.
We're just, and you have those.
I literally have everything.
Yeah, you've got all of them. So the dilators, yes, there they are. Are my best friend.
The small versions, so I don't scare people.
So they go from the size of a
pinky or carrot,
all the way up to the size of a normal penis.
And
and what they do is, for me, they did, at least with lidocaine. And we're gonna get to a little bit of like. There's a whole bunch that came after this, but
I get to do show and tell tonight.
I'm so excited right now. I'm going to put this out on our YouTube so people can actually
now. Okay.
And I cannot believe that I'm doing an episode on this, but it's important.
I can.
I am so excited right now. So dilators, she's got them there. They're usually silicone. Typically they're, do you want to talk about them?
Okay. So
she's going to be able to help us more with the description. All I know is they changed my life.
So I'm very excited about these. I do have a discount code if anyone needs.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Great. We'll put that in the show notes. I'll get that from you after.
Have that. So there's different sizes.
There they are.
There's like so many more. I just can't put them on this stand. But so I don't love dilators as a first line of treatment.
It took a minute.
They're not like, oh, I have this condition, let me just go buy some dilators. No. This is like, hey, I've either tried and I've plateaued at PT, or I have tried and failed PT, or I've tried these other things and they're not working. So this is your second step in this process. And I'm glad that they worked for you. It is.
Well, and I think it's important. What you're saying is really important, because I think that's what I thought reading this one book would do it, or this tool would do it, or whatever. And it is, you guys, it is a recipe that you have to do the work to find for yourself. Because for me, I had to have mental health first.
Yes.
Like that was like, I had to be able to hold a mirror up and look at myself, which was a new thing I'd never done.
Huge. So and I'll say right now, maybe probably fight someone if they disagree. But the only way
I think I'd put my money on you, just so you know.
I don't know if I'm that scrappy, but the only way a dilator truly works is if you do it with intention, right? This isn't just something you stick in and like watch TV. Like this is something you need to say, okay, I feel a sensation at the place where I normally clench up when I feel a sensation. However, I'm in control of this sensation. It is not painful. It is not threatening. And you need to say that to yourself and work on your breathing and do some leg movements or do a leg stretch or something while maintaining a sensation that continues to be non-threatful, non-painful. And you need to do that mind body work. Now, what you were describing earlier of, hey, this could be a feather touch and I felt like it was a dagger. So what you're describing is, you're gonna nerd out right now. So
excited right now.
What you're describing, we call it, there's this term for it. It's called central sensitization. So your nerves, you have nerves in your body, right? And they'll tell you things that are important to know. For example, if you had a smoke alarm in your house, you would want to know if there was a fire, right? But do you want to know about every fire in your house? What about like the candle in the room next door?
Right. So I'm thinking,
your smoke alarm was like the amplitude on the sensitivity was turned up so high that it was like, there's a freaking fire, someone call 911, like there's a fire. But like it was just a candle in the room. It was in a saucer and it was safe.
Yeah.
So what happens? Have you heard of the homunculus?
No.
Oh, I wish I had like a picture.
I wish you guys could see her face because she's making me so happy right now. Okay, go.
First of all, you should totally Google it. It's horrifying. But so the homunculus is just, do it. Tell me what you think. Then I'll explain it. It'll make sense.
Yes. Okay. How do you spell it?
HOMUNCULUS. Homunculus.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's not a picture, but it says
there's gotta be a picture.
Small human being originally depicted. Okay.
Look at the images. You have to see the picture.
Okay, I'm going. Oh my God. Okay, everyone go Google it. You'll see
go
it.
Google homunculus.
Yes.
Okay,
If you're
so
on our thing right now, it's just this weird.
This is the homunculus. Okay. So what the homunculus is a visual depiction of how the nerves are distributed in your body. So the areas on the homunculus little man guy that are big, like your lips, your genitals, your hands, your feet, are really huge on this little guy because that's the nerve distribution. There's more nerves distributed there in your body.
Which is why when mine is with provoked vestibulodynia, when it was going crazy, because they said I had a pretty severe case, my nerves were hyperactive in that one local spot, which radiated out to all, like basically my body just freaked out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it created a panic alarm on you, right? And that when we start talking about chronic pain, which you had vulvar pain greater than 3 months, that is now defined as chronic.
I believe it.
And by the time you found a specialist, if we were in way past the chronic phase, it had cobwebs on it.
Yeah. Literally.
Literally. So, but by the time people find out what's wrong, or by the time people figure out that there is something wrong and that they should go see someone about it, and then now who do I go see? They're all chronic by the time they get to me. All I deal with is chronic pain. So we have to talk about that homunculus and that distribution of nerves. We have to talk about the fact that your body is doing its job, right? It's being protective of an area. It's just being it's doing a little too good of a job being protective of an area. Now, why it got protective in the first place, we don't know.
Well, and let's talk about that. So some women have, I know you know this, I'm going to say it for the audience here. Like some women, after childbirth, like they discover, I have a friend that this has happened to her after childbirth. Some could have been born with it. They don't know. There could have been, I could have fallen on a bike in middle school. And
actually, I was reading that it can even be if you had a yeast infection. Yeah. If you had a yeast infection. So that was what I was going to ask. Did you use tampons as a kid?
Well, I didn't because I couldn't.
It's painful.
Yes.
So tampon use is
Yes.
fine that you probably have vulvodynia
Yeah.
or vaginismus. You probably
Yes.
have that.
Yes.
So
And a big thing we found too in my pelvic floor therapy is like my oh, I can't even think of the fibers, like, okay, so like my thighs and stuff like that, that's all, you look at her face, she's like, I know what you're gonna say. It like, I was never flexible, first of all, that's like a big thing. And like what are those, what is it called?
adductors, like your
Yes.
groin muscle. Yeah.
I couldn't, like, even if they tried to like massage in that area, it was so tight, like so fibrous that they couldn't, you know what I mean? Like that was, and it's all connected, you guys.
Literally one of the first things when I first meet, not the first thing, that's weird. That came out wrong.
You say hi first. Okay.
I do say hi. And like, but when I'm first about to do a pelvic exam on someone for the very first time, oh my God, here we go. I like to demo. So they're laying on their back, right? And I literally will just place my hand on their inner thigh because I know
you can tell
if their inner thigh is, or their like the groin muscles, the crotch muscles, if they're like tight, like a freaking rock, I'm like, oh, I already know what I'm going to find inside.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that was me.
Therefore, we, and I do want to dispel this rumor also. I don't have to do internal evals on people. Mm-hmm. I don't push them either. I just let you know, hey, I'm going to find out more information if we do this. Mm-hmm. You may respond well to it or not, mm-hmm. but you may have a flare up after, but this will give us so much information, mm-hmm. and we can try without it, and we can see how far we can get in your care without an internal eval. Mm-hmm. And, it may not happen on the first visit. It may not happen on the second visit. And, I have a patient who finally by her like 6th visit, she was like, fine, let's just do it. Like, let's get it over.
That was me.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Do it. Let's try this. Yeah. And I will also say for patients with, and I'm gonna, yes, the kids are out of the room here. We're doing this. We're talking about it.
Okay. Ready.
Women are so lucky that we have 2 access points to our pelvic floor. So, transrectal treatment for women with vulvar pain is like freaking gold. I'm sorry, girls.
Really?
It is gold. That is my number one go-to. Like, I'm going to do an initial vulvar and vaginal eval, but visit number 2, transrectal. That's where we're going.
Yeah. Really? That is so interesting.
With consent. That's where we're going.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think too, like the leading up to that, it took me like 6 visits for that to be okay. And I really want to be I really want people to hear this. Like, you have to become comfortable with your body. I was not. I had so much work to get to the point of being able to have a physical therapist work on that area. And I also think like dilators. So dilators are gradual.
So yeah, once you graduate from, the little tiny pinky size guy, and then you graduate up, the same thing. You're working on the same mental, I am safe. Yep. I feel this sensation. What does it feel like? Does it feel warm? Does it feel cold? And you're literally retraining that nervous system to incorporate other information other than just, there's a sensation. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Literally. And this is going to get real.
Yeah. Let's go.
Get real. But I, to this day, still have pain. So I just need everyone to know, like, it didn't cure it. It made it so I could live, like, and also not be ashamed. Right.
Have questions then for you.
Oh, okay. I still have pain, and I'm going to make an appointment to see you. But anyways, let's talk about that later.
Did people check for like hymenal remnants?
Right. So I don't remember. It's been now. So we ended up at 10.5 years of marriage, being able to have intercourse. And it was the best day of our lives.
But did it feel good for you, or were you?
No, not at all. But I was so excited. And that was kind of just the beginning. And so now with the dilators, that's why I want people to know there are tools that can help. Is I have to like 30 minutes to an hour beforehand do the dilators and like literally breathe, like connect my mind, body, and soul, and like breathe through it. And like you said, tell myself I'm safe, tell myself I'm okay. I have to do lidocaine. I can't get around that for that spot.
Oh, I was going to ask about that.
Yes.
So many questions.
Ask me everything.
Oh my God. Okay. So have you tried topical estrogen cream?
I did earlier on, I have not come back to it, but remember it was like a cocktail at that point, trying to figure out what was, yeah.
Great. Okay. The next question, has anyone checked your clitoral hood mobility?
Yes, they have checked
Oh.
that, and we should add to the mix here. This is like Selena's out in the middle of everyone. Like, we should add to the mix that I have a tendency towards sebaceous cysts in my whole
there
area
it is.
down there.
There it is.
I've had to have like 3 surgeries to have cysts removed.
What is those? When were these surgeries?
So the first one was the 5 years earlier when he checked that he was the doctor that.
But you had pain with tampon insertion earlier, but that was probably because of a cyst.
I did.
Removed.
Yep. Okay. So I've had to have 3 removals.
Okay. This is the okay. So why are you getting those cysts?
Great question. I was told I was just cysty. That's what I was told.
Girl. Ew. Icky. Way to make you feel icky.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. So part of having pain with intercourse and like dealing with that and working through that is going to be your foreplay. So the vagina will lengthen and like become more like, I don't know how else to describe it, but like
it's like a flower.
Yes, it will blossom for the penis or the whatever you choose to put in it. Or don't. It will, but it will do it either way. So it will literally lengthen to accept, and it will moisten, and like all these things happen naturally. So foreplay is so important. And I like to. I mean, there's some principles of tantra that I like talking about as far as you will feel safe if you are in a safe place. What are you listening to? What's the sound that you're hearing? Is it a screaming child? Is it a car horns blaring? I don't like, that's not, is it like gunshots? Like, you're not going to feel safe. Like, it's not, nope. So you have to then involve like all your senses. So what does it smell like? What does it feel like? Put the nice calm music on, put the lights dim. Like, I'm sorry, you're not going to have sex in fluorescent lighting. Like, I don't know. Put on the nice candle or the Scentsy warmer, whatever you've got. Put on the nice soft blanket on the bed that makes you feel nice, like, or wherever you choose to have sex. Put the nice comfy thing down. So you're in a place where touch feels nice. Spend some time just kissing each other naked, like accepting and like being in each other's space physically. Like that warm up is so important, especially with pain with sex. And please, for the love of God, don't do Kegels.
No. No, that was, I took that off the table.
There's no need for you to tighten further when you have been tight, and we need to do the opposite.
Yeah. And I think too, like that's why the dilators help me so much, because I can actually just get my body to a point where I can even do foreplay, because I still have like this, my body just wants to like, and this is years of me working through this, and my body still wants to just like tighten up. I'm doing this, no one can see it, but I'm like tightening up, and it's, so I have to like consciously, like you said, intentionally, consciously breathe, relax, like literally go into another place, like get through it.
Absolutely. So, but you shouldn't be disconnecting mentally from where you shouldn't be dissociating.
Yeah.
And I don't allow patients to associate when they're in the room with me.
Yep.
If you check out, we're done. Like, I'm not doing things to you.
Good.
Do what you have to do. No, like this is a joint effort similar to
your
dilator.
Yeah.
The dilator is not doing stuff to you. You and your dilator are working together to reach your brain. I am not doing anything to you. If you for a moment, I'm like, did she check out? I'm gonna like try to talk to you. If you're not here, I'm gone. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
And I've had to verbally say that to people prior to, because they were using terms like, just do what you need to do. And I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah.
No. We're not going to do that. Like, and I just took it off the table. You know what? We're not doing this today. No, no, I'm not interested in doing things to you. Sorry.
Yeah. I think that it's really powerful what you're saying, which is that this is what I've learned through the process, is like people hear me talk about it all the time too, just like with working out, but like your mind, body, and soul have to be connected. Like that movement helps you do that. Meditation helps you do that. Like you said, for me, it's like worship music helps me do that. Like you have to have something that's going to kind of bring all the senses together in one place, and that there's nothing to be afraid of to start to figure out what that looks like for you. And I used to be afraid, like if I dealt with it, if I talked about it, that there was something wrong with me. And I think that's where, like, I'm sure I spent so many years in isolation in my mind and like lies and telling, I did the whole thing where it was like, did something happen to me at some point? Did I, like all this stuff? And
because, a part of vaginismus or vestibulodynia can be from past trauma. So if you had, in particular, if your first sexual experience was traumatic from, let's say, a rape or something, that is absolutely traumatizing. And no wonder your body's alarms would be like, hard pass on the sensations down there, ma'am.
Right.
Last time. And those feelings that's within a normal range of normal response from your body.
Yeah.
Again, just doing too good of a job protecting you.
Yeah.
It's like, hold on, no. I like this one. This one is okay. I'm consent.
Yeah,
Sir.
consent. And I think too, I just heard something yesterday and I was like, love this conversation because it was that you can, there's a new book called Mind Your Mindset, but you can rewire your brain which is what you're saying, which is like, I'm safe. I'm okay. Like, because what we do is we had an experience and then we jump to now the what could happens. And then our body's trying to protect itself from like the what ifs. And really that isn't really what's going to happen. This was,
I might blow your brain a little bit further.
I'm excited to do it.
You're gonna maybe hate me a little if I say this. I don't know.
Okay, let's do it.
It's true though. So listen up. So some pain neuroscience education, 100% of the time. Okay, let me back up. You have nerves in your body.
Right. Obviously.
You have nerves that tell you different information.
Yes.
So you have nerves that tell you light touch, deep touch, vibration, where your joints are in space, like your proprioceptive nerves. You have 0 nerves in your body that tell you are in pain. So therefore, you only have nerves that tell you like sensory information. So therefore, 100% of the time, pain is an output of the brain.
Wow.
And like, that's why some people are like, oh, I have a high pain tolerance. It's like, well, it's your brain. It's not like it's your tolerance of sensory information in your brain or your intolerance of sensory information from certain aspects. And your brain, what it does is it takes this information from your sensory and it processes it and it adds in, okay, I am standing in my kitchen. Have I been here before? Yes. Have I been at my stove before? Yes. It feels warm. I'm getting sensory input from my warm nerves. Okay. Have I had warmth in this part of my hand before? Yes. Oh my gosh, what am I doing right now? I'm cooking. Oh, I've done that before. Oh, I've burned my hand before. Oh my God, I'm burning my hand. And then you remove your hand. And that is like, your brain has to tell you I'm in pain. And then you remove your hand because that is the signal for you to remove your hand. So your past information integrates with your current sensory. So if you know, I've had pain here before, I'm having sensation in the same spot. This is a very similar thing. I've got a naked man near me. You're going to continue to have pain. And so I don't want people to not have sex. I don't want people to have painful sex.
Yeah, that's right.
And so if you're having painful sex, we've got to find a way that makes it not painful. We've got to find something that makes sex feel, in fact, like tolerable to pleasurable even. It should feel nice. And if you're having painful sex, that sucks. And I'm like, and we've got to figure out, it's not that I don't want you to have sex in all the positions and in every which way you want. I don't want you to have pain in any of which way you want. And so when people come to me and they say I have pain with sex, I'm like, great. Is it at initial penetration or with deep penetration? Because there's a difference. Or is it both? And so for you, are you having pain with deep penetration as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So has anyone shown you the O nut?
We have them.
Yes. I love that you have that.
Show me how to use it though.
Yeah. Okay. And I am not sponsored. I do have an Intimate Rose discount code, and if you use it, you get like $5 off, and I think I get a couple bucks. Like
we're gonna put the code in the show notes for sure.
But I don't have a code for ONUT. I just think that they're a wonderful company.
I had heard about them. I had seen them. I bought them. I'm scared.
Okay.
This is why I need you in my life.
These little, like, they're very jiggly and like floppy and squishy, and they're soft, and they're these little stackable rings. They totally can stack, and they come with 4, and he's gonna put it over his shaft, like, lube it up, put it over the shaft, and it's just gonna be able to like customize your depth experience because they don't go in.
Right.
So if you have pain with deep penetration, great. Let's make his ability to penetrate you deeply less. And you can literally customize how many what depth do you want? You just want just a little bit, or you want most of it, but not all, because there's too much.
It's modular.
It's so cool. They also now make them in different colors, which is very cool.
Well, that's fun.
Go them, and then they just came out with a vibrating O-ring, which is very cool. Vibrating O-nut that like links on these, which is going to, when we talk about the gate control theory of pain, when you slam your hand in a car door and you immediately start shaking to provide sensory input from other nerves. So that's why vibration works. Those nerves travel faster than the nerves that carry the alert signals, right? The vibration travel faster.
Oh my gosh.
So that vibrating O-nut should maybe be on your Valentine's Day wish list.
It's being added. I'm also going to add to the wish list. I'm going to make an appointment with you. Yes. Because I will say, and this is like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead.
Yeah, no, but then, okay. Oh my God, there's so much more.
It's still painful. And to be honest, I still have a hard time getting myself to do it.
Well, first of all, I've so many questions.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Are you able to touch yourself and feel nice? You don't have to answer that on air. I'm sorry that I asked if I could, and you said I could ask.
Yeah, I said you could ask any question. That's why I want to do this episode, because I didn't think you could talk about this stuff.
Touch yourself.
And I'd have to actually even think about it.
Okay.
Like
You've never thought to do that?
Well, I don't know. I can't tell you if it's painful, because so when I have to put medicine on, that's as much as I touch myself. Put medicine, different conversation. Medicine on, it's painful.
Okay.
Like to the touch.
You're just putting it on the introitus, right?
Yes.
On
the part where it's,
for the most part, when women, well, not always true. Some women just need clitoral stimulation. Are you able to touch your clitoris without?
That's not a problem, unless I have a cyst. And then
But so you had the cyst on the clitoris.
I've had it there and in the vulva area.
Did you do scar massage work?
No. What are you talking about?
Because they removed it, right?
And there were stitches.
Therefore, there is scar tissue.
Yes.
Are you doing scar massage?
No. Do I need to see you?
Probably.
I love this.
So you should be doing scar massage work.
Okay.
And, put some vitamin E oil on your finger and scar massage that shit.
Like making notes now.
I was taking notes on you earlier. Don't worry.
Like vibrating O-nut.
No. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
And you've had 4 sebaceous cyst removals.
Yeah, I've had one. It was a very traumatic experience. It was after, it was infected, and she did it. It was in the clitoral. It was a clitoral sebaceous cyst, and and she just lanced it in the office. And I think to this day, I don't know if I've ever been in that much pain in my entire life. It hurt so bad. So the next
your
time,
homunculus clitoris is huge. So
it was cherry tomato.
Yeah, I believe awful. That.
And then
when I asked you if you've had trauma, you've had incredible amounts of trauma. Your conscious brain isn't recognizing those events as trauma. No. But yes, you have had not only trauma, but you've had medical trauma.
Yeah.
And that's that's shitty. Did you talk to your therapist about those?
No.
Okay, so checklist next. Okay.
Hold on a second.
Okay. Like this is how I work. I'm like, okay.
I want this. This is what I wanted. Is I wanted to be a patient in front of other people so that they could see how these conversations go, and maybe even think about what their answers would be.
This is before I even touch you.
I love it.
This is like, we've taken a whole hour, and it's like, we haven't even gone to the eval.
This might be like a 2-parter.
Right?
Love it.
So then, okay. So when she did intra pelvic work on, I like that word, intra pelvic work.
That's what we're going to call it.
I don't like intravaginal. I don't like that, because we could be transrectal or transvaginal, and both of those words scare people. Intra pelvic work.
I love it.
Or internal work. So when she did internal work on you, did it help?
It did actually. So that got me to the point where I could actually use a dilator.
Do you have one of these bad boys?
I don't. That is terrifying looking.
Yeah. By the same company. I just love Intimate Rose. I'm sorry for all the other companies that exist. This is owned by a pelvic PT, and she's also really nice.
Yeah,
And
I think I follow them. I think I
I
follow
love
them on
them. It's the
Instagram.
same one that makes the dilator brand that I love. And,
Mhm.
Also I have that discount code for you guys, so I can get you $5.
Mhm, I love it.
Yeah, but that did something.
So this
It's
hook
probably-
that you're holding up, is
Yeah.
it silicone? Is it soft? What's happening?
It's the same material as her
Okay.
dilators. It's a
Okay.
little bit more firm though. It doesn't bend as much because
Okay.
the goal is for you to be able to be the hand that hooks in and around and like can get to, can you even see this? You
Oh
can
my
get
gosh,
to the
yes.
sides of your pelvic wall.
To do that and that work at myself.
You
Okay.
can work yourself if you can tolerate the sensation at your entrance.
Okay.
I will say this does tend to work better for my girls who have pain with deep penetration,
Okay.
not pain at entrance.
Okay.
Because we're totally touching the entrance to get to
Yeah.
the deep.
Yeah.
So,
But if I do lidocaine, I can usually get past that. Yeah.
honestly, and I have to maybe message her and ask if this is cleared for transrectal use, because I don't see why not.
Yeah.
That might be your ticket.
Oh my
to-
gosh. I'm like gonna start crying.
But like it's for real, like if no one has done the transrectal work on you, like we're missing first of all, half of your pelvic floor, because I can't even
Yeah.
access some of these. Did you ever hurt your tailbone or fall on your coccyx?
I did in high school,
Was that before the tampon use started?
probably around the like same time. I just was always terrified to use tampons. So then by the time I went to go use them, it was like not going to happen. And I couldn't, funny enough, I was always like so confused. I'm like, how are people getting these in? Like, I can't get this in.
Mm. Well, we didn't even do the anatomy chat earlier when I whipped out my pelvis, but if
Yeah.
you look at your spine comes in and
Yes.
attached to your tailbone, your coccyx,
Yeah.
and you see literally all of the muscles in your pelvic floor attached to it, like all of them,
Wow.
literally all of them. There's not a single muscle that, well, okay, I can maybe one. There's one muscle that doesn't attach, but all of the other ones literally attach directly to your coccyx. So if you're having, and look at this direct line from
Yeah.
rectum
To where, right where my pain is. Yeah.
literal direct line. So like, if you're not doing rectal work, I don't want to say you're wrong, but
Well,
we're missing something.
I can make a joke right now that my husband would think was very, very funny, but yes.
So it's like, if I can get in there and like, look at the rectum is blocking half of my access when I'm vaginal, I can't get to the back half of your pelvic floor. And like, yes, it's weird. Yes, it's not the most comfortable thing in the whole world, but it's also not like the
It's only weird if you make it weird.
it's only weird to make it weird, but also like it's not the worst thing ever. And for a lot of vaginal pain and introitus pain, like this is the best.
That's really interesting. And I feel like, because just, it's been 25 years. I've been,
Yeah.
24 years I've been
Not cool.
doing this. And, so my boys are walking miracles. The fact that we were able to do it and conceive was
Yeah.
like crazy. But I want to continue down the journey. And I'll say, for anyone who's listening and maybe like starting, like it's exhausting. Like it's a lot of work to get.
Chronic pain is a lot of work.
Yes, exactly. And I love that they call it chronic pain now, because that's literally how I've felt my whole life. But it's that there's such a stigma around talking about it, or just that like, and no one ever talks about somebody having pain like outside of the first time with sex. So
right. Yeah. So yeah, I asked a lot of questions. The clitoral hood mobility though.
yeah.
You should be able. So if yours is not yellow, mine is a little yellow dot.
Yep.
But you should be able to literally take your finger and pull up on the skin above your clitoris, and it should move and it should expose more of your clitoris. This is your clitoral hood.
I think mine's good.
And it should move left and it should move right. Like you should be able to see the sides of your clitoris.
Okay.
And like, it was so wild that you mentioned that you had a cyst there. And like, I'm like, okay, I'm theories, right? It could be the fall on the tailbone that caused all of this.
Mhm.
Could
It'd
be
be crazy.
It could be the cyst that caused all of this,
Yeah.
right? The cyst plus the fall on the tailbone, and you're just
Yeah.
like, "No, I'm out."
Yeah.
It could be a hormonal imbalance.
Mhm.
Were you on birth control at any point in your teens?
No, I was my first years of marriage, I was, which is ironic because we weren't having sex, but
And
anyway.
then I'm pretty pleased assuming they have checked and cleared you for lichen sclerosis.
Yes, they did check for that, but I will say this, and this is interesting, is he had me on, I seem to have always had an underlying yeast, always. And so for a long time, I've been on fluconazole, which I haven't been taking the last year or two, honestly, since the pandemic. I kind of just stopped taking it. I don't know what the two tied together, but I just know that that's the timing. The last couple of years, I haven't taken it. So, but I always had an underlying yeast going on. So that's interesting because you said earlier the yeast infection. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just a hot mess is what's going on.
It sounds like there's some gut health issues. Have you talked to
Yes.
nutritionists in all of this?
And I've been working, so I have gone through a whole gut whole health like protocol thing, and I am now gluten-free, dairy-free.
Okay.
Which is funny because it has completely relieved my herniated disc I have in my L1S or L5S1. So the pain.
Okay. When did that start?
That was just in the last couple of years. So that was like new. But what's interesting is the inflammation piece of it. So that's kind of why I got so excited when you and I started talking, because I was like, I feel like I'm at a place where I could go now back and work on some of this muscular stuff to try to help with relaxing more, because I still do this.
Yeah.
I still do this.
So when do you have like a lacrosse ball at home?
No, I need to get one because everyone keeps talking about it.
They're just like a nice tool that I use that is really cheap because anyways, if you had a lacrosse ball, I'm trying to.
You guys should see this. She has like just so many things in front of her right now.
I brought my whole goodie box out for you.
I love it.
So if you have a lacrosse ball and you have a pelvis, you can literally aim for your sit bone, that like bone on the bottom of your pelvis. You can feel it underneath your butt. It's the bone that you feel like you're sitting on.
Yeah.
So aim for that bone and then go right on the inside of it. So right underneath your butt cheek.
Like, okay.
You can feel that bone. So you can access your pelvic floor externally.
Okay.
For you?
What is happening right now? So excited.
I'm like, first of all, has no one ever done this?
No.
Annoying. 25 years, and this is like basics.
In all of their defenses, I kind of stopped going because I didn't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, it's hard when you try and you try and you try and you don't get anywhere.
Yeah,
and it's disheartening. And I'm sorry, but like we cost money. Like there is a financial burden for.
Well, it's worth every penny, guys. I'll tell you what. I needed this like reminder that I still have to do the work, and I'll tell you, my husband will be happy that I'm doing the work too.
Well, and it's like, but it's both of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's intimacy together. It's not about like pleasing him.
Exactly.
You two strengthening your bond through a different method.
Yeah.
And like a method that's been like you've been unable.
Plus he's so supportive. He will help me with any exercises. I mean, gladly help me with any exercise that I need to, but I'm just saying, like, so supportive. I mean, I remember one time I was working on my exercises, my dilators. Yeah. And I was just bawling. It was before babies. And I was like, is this ever gonna like, work? Right. You know? And it was just like this beautiful moment where he's like, honey, like, this is you and I are forever. So like, if it's you or this, like, I'll pick you every time. And I just remember the weight that lifted of like, oh, we're in this together. Like, he wants to be a part of this. And I encourage people to like, don't live in darkness, like talk about it.
I'm ready for you, not your vagina. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That came along with the package, and like
I didn't know this was part of the deal. I married you. Yeah,
like that's a huge thing. So you can have him if he wants to, he could totally give you a booty massage because
I love that.
You do have like your gluteal cleft, right? The butt cheek here. So on the inside of the butt cheek, between the anus and your sit bone, he can kind of reach in and around and up under the cheek, like cup it, and you can your pelvic floor from the external area.
Okay, that's good to know.
all through, and like literally you just find the sit bone and you wrap your finger in here, and this area underneath like the butt cheek is hanging out over here, and you're
Yeah.
literally working under the butt cheek.
Interesting.
Under this.
I never would have ever thought that area would be so
Literally your pelvic floor. Look at it.
crazy. This
Or-
is why we need people like you in the world, because no one tells us this stuff.
It's so frustrating. Like, or you could do it by sitting yourself on a tennis balls are fine. They're just really squishy. But like a harder ball, like a lacrosse ball, works really well. So sitting on the lacrosse ball, like don't go over your anus, don't go over your tailbone. Like definitely don't go over your labia. Like that's not fun. But just that area, right? And like my sensitive spots are right up along my SI joint, my sacroiliac joint. So where my sacrum comes in contact with here, my sensitive areas are up here a little higher. Like I'm not having as much tension down here, but I'm assuming you will. And even you can
fair assumption.
Like I'm not going to assume things about you, but you might shower nightly or daily. So in the shower every day, when I hope, maybe no judgment, but hopefully you're washing your butt, you can like, right, you could literally cup your own. Oh, I'm doing it. I'm showing. I'm with you.
She's doing it, everyone.
Your own butt.
Okay, and then like just massage a little bit.
Really, like, maybe just warm water. Maybe don't throw some soap on your vulva, but like. Yeah. You could literally self-massage once a day for 5 seconds on each side.
And that's something to talk about too, because I know that's something I had to learn is I can't use any soaps, perfumes, nothing down there.
Nothing.
We shouldn't be doing that, guys.
Using for your laundry soap, even like even that can be irritating to those tissues. Have you tried
cotton? I have to wear cotton.
Yeah, and if
that's huge.
pad for your menstrual cycle, you should be using cotton pads with no additives. There's a few brands that have that. And then
I think 7th generation, I think
Rael, Rael, is that it?
I think so.
I have them. But yeah.
And what's interesting is I can do tampons now, but it's after years of
use
practice.
I hope you're using the cotton tampons.
Yes, I'm using cotton tampons, and I have to like I've had to, that's like been a whole journey by itself. The first time I could ever do that, I was like, this is crazy.
Hyaluronic acid. Are you using any of that?
No.
Use that for like our face.
Yeah.
So if there is a lack of tissue moisture and suppleness, right? Which with chronic pain, there tends to be a more inflammatory process or a lack, so the brand Good Clean Love makes Good Clean Love with hyaluronic acid.
Okay.
Good Clean Love makes a lot of products, and I will disclaimer this right now, and I will tell you that like maybe 10% of patients experience some burning with this.
Okay, that's good to know.
It's 10. I am so sorry. Just stop using it. I'm sorry you wasted $20. But yeah, it works really well for the 90% though. So I'm sorry if you're the 10. But Good Clean Love with hyaluronic acid is an awesome way to provide some moisture to the tissues.
Okay, that's good.
If in particular, and maybe not for vulvodynia in particular, but in particular for my perimenopausal.
I was just going to say I'm 44, so me and my friends are starting to get there.
So in particular for peripartum, which is the tissues look and feel the same as a perimenopausal state because the drop of estrogen that happens after you have a baby. In particular for those two groups of women, that hyaluronic acid can be really helpful if they're having dryness and pain with like pain at the entrance because the tissue is not hydrated enough. It's like you can either fix the hydration issue with like if you have literal chapped lips on your face, it's like, okay, if you are dehydrated, you need to drink more water. But if it's like a tissue hormonal imbalance issue with a lack of estrogen, if topical estrogen creams aren't being prescribed to you or aren't right for you for whatever reason, then okay, maybe hyaluronic acid could help.
And that's why you were asking about topical estrogen. Yeah.
And also, I'd have to, and this would be a refer out situation because I can't prescribe. So I would refer to someone who could. And there's also, gosh, I had a pelvic PT friend who worked in a urologist office, which was really cool because I could call her all the time. And I can't quote myself on this because this was something I heard from her. But she was talking about, for the clitoral hood mobility in particular, while the vaginal introitus is pretty estrogen dominant, they might give you like an estrogen testosterone mix or an estrogen progesterone mix for a different area in your like vulvar area, because one of those is more a little bit got a little more testosterone dominance, one has a little more progesterone, and one has a little more estrogen. So like they may give you different mixes depending on physically where they want you to put that cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't quote me on these
Oh,
things.
interesting.
Also, it's their job to know that.
Yeah.
Because I can't prescribe them anyways.
Yes. And it's also, I think Desert Harvest is one that I like to use too, because it's aloe
They have the
based.
hyaluronic acid as well.
I don't know. I'm gonna go look. They have one with lidocaine too. That's
I always say Good Clean Love.
I like that.
Desert Harvest is a really reputable brand.
Yeah, aloe based. So it's usually pretty. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Rachel, this is like
Using lube during sex? What are you using?
Desert Harvest aloe.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I always recommend slippery stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, slippery stuff is so good.
Yes.
The blue one, the gel is like water-based, paraben-free, glycerin.
Yeah. So I just can't have anything that's what's it called? The one that's
No, it can. This is good with
like KY. What is it?
Oh God. Oh,
no,
God.
but I mean, there's something in there that's like
But no one needs that.
no one needs that.
No one needs
everyone. No one needs that.
Friendly reminder, like you were mentioning earlier, like not washing your vulva with soap. Like
Yeah.
your outer vulva, like your outer labia, sure, but not your vulva.
Yeah.
Like this, where it looks like a skin texture. If you wouldn't put soap on the inside of your lip, don't put it on the inside of your lips.
That's good. I like that.
Like it's weird. Like don't
That's a
do
good
that.
tip. And I'll say too that I feel like we should give everyone homework. So I'm going to give everyone homework because this was a big deal for me, and maybe you guys are all okay, but like go get a mirror and just look at your body parts. That's it.
Because I don't understand why there's any shame associated.
No, it's the same as looking at your face. It's you're looking at it. And I think that having that education of like, this goes here and that goes there. I know that some might be where I was, where it was like, I just didn't think we could do that.
Or there's shame associated, and they're like, but I don't want to look at it because it's icky or gross. And like, that's not true.
No, it's beautiful.
Like it is part of
when we think about everything you just showed us.
Do I have ugly hands?
Yeah.
Let me never look at my hand. No, you're still going to look at your hand. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of vulva and they all look like individual little vulvas. Like, I don't know. Like they're none of them. I've never been like, ew. Like they all just unique and they look different, and that they may look slightly darker after you have a baby, or they may look slightly different. Like your perineal body might sit a little bit differently than you're used to, but it changed and it's fine.
But God gave us that part of our body. I mean, it's not disconnected from you. And I think that's for me. Yes. And that for me, I know.
Accepting that one.
I know.
I don't know.
That for me was like huge, because it was like a completely like a foreign object, like not part of who I was, you know what I mean?
I mean, can you imagine like having knee pain and being like, I'm never going to look at it. It's an ugly. I'll be the first to say I have ugly knees because I had a genetic thing where
you're going to show us your knees now.
Like, oh God, I didn't shave for you, but I have these huge knobs.
I love you. Yeah.
These huge knobs because I had Osgood-Schlatter's growing up, and that's like a disease where your bones are growing faster than your muscles, so your muscles fray off, and like then your bone replenishes. And
crazy.
It was really bad. Not that I ever grew tall enough to make that genetic disease make sense. But I have ugly knees. But can you imagine having knee pain and then being like, I'm not gonna look at my knee, it's ugly. No, it's part of your body, and that's just what that's part of you. And part of that brain body connection, physically looking at it. And I have
so much.
I've kind of been like, hey, I'm gonna hand you a hand mirror. I'm gonna step out. You can look or not, but I want you to look. And I think you should look. And I think it's important that you look. And well, and it helps so much when you're dealing with the pain too. For me, I know it just took the veil away. You know what I mean? Like it was like, okay. So like when that's hurting, I mean, when he showed me the first time the 2 spots,
I was like, oh my gosh, like they're literally red.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, why are they red? What's going on?
I didn't know that. And he would always like show me like where, where to put the medicine or something like that. And you just have to kind of get to the point where you're like, this is a part of my body. It's the same thing that they told me where to put it on my cheek. I mean, I'm just going to figure out where to put it.
No one else is judging you, like on your medical team. Literally, no one's judging.
No. In fact, they want you to look at it so you know what to do so you can be better.
We're just trying to work ourselves out of a job.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep coming back.
Oh my gosh, Rachel, this was so empowering. And I know kind of eye-opening for me that I still have a lot of work to do. And I'm okay with that. Like I'm good with that. I am feeling very like re-energized by all of this. And
the chronicity of your condition can get you down.
yeah, it really, really can. And
like
I used to brag that I have a high tolerance for pain, but now I'm told that I know that's not a real thing. So
well, the irony is that I just read a study that showed that the people with chronic like that central sensitization, they're actually so, alerted to pain all the time that they end up with a lower pain tolerance physically. Like they've studied it. And like, so because your body's doing such a good job of protecting you, and it's so sick of being in pain. It's just like, what now?
Yeah.
Let me
Like you're so sensitive to it. Yeah.
And now you're probably like, everything always has a baseline, but that baseline is probably like higher. Like it feels like I'm always at a 3. That 3 probably should be a 0. Like that's normal sensations that your brain is interpreting as pain.
I love it. Yeah, it's good information, because I think that and that there's so much going on inside your mind that you can really like stop, be mindful, pay attention, and like kind of shift the way that you look at it. And I love that. What's the best way for people to like, what do you do? Like, how can they get a hold of you or find you and all that?
I am on Instagram. I've got a website. I've got Facebook. I've got LinkedIn. I've got YouTube now. Ooh.
Hey. Oh, we'll put this on your YouTube too.
My like 11th follower. It'll be so fun for you. But I'm on all of these at like Empowered Physical Therapy. Unfortunately, my business name is not unique. So that was a blunder on my part for but I'm empowered-physicaltherapy.com. I'm empowered-physicaltherapy, _ on Instagram.
Okay.
And on Facebook, I'm just Empowered Physical Therapy. And on YouTube, I think I'm Empowered-Physical Therapy. So
we'll put it in all the notes.
I know.
And people can come in and see you and
the crazy thing is that I'm the only pelvic PT in Lake Stevens.
That is crazy, actually.
That's insane. They think there's one in Snohomish. There's one that I know of in Marysville. There's one there's 2 that I know of in Everett, and there's 2 that I know of in Mill Creek.
That's amazing.
That's it. And like, I mean, I'm not saying this is just a postpartum issue, but it was. There's like 4,000 births a year at Evergreen. Like, where are these women getting help?
Yeah, no, like, they're not.
They're being ignored. They're being told to go away, and like, or they're just dealing with it.
Yeah. So I hope people look you up, and obviously you are so easy to talk to. And I think even if my encouragement would be like, even if you don't have a severe case like I did of whatever, but that you just something doesn't feel right, like call Rachel.
It's not getting better on its own. Like,
no, I love that.
So,
oh my gosh, you're offering such a service, and I'm so excited to put your name out there in the world so people can talk to
you. That I've talked to have like a 3 to 6 month wait list, and right now I'm at like a week. So
that's awesome. Oh, that's good. I better get my appointment. And and you and I were talking in advance, but you were looking up some stats. And do you remember how many women are affected with some sort of condition like I have?
With yours in particular, so that's the only stat, because I'm not the girl who's gonna look. I'm not the numbers girl, but I looked it up just for you. According to the International Journal of Women's Health that they published in 2017, so this is a 5-year-old study.
In a minute,
right? That they had found population-based surveys suggest vulvodynia affects between 6 to 8% of women at any one time, but up to 25% of women in their lifetime. So at some point in their life, 1 out of 4 women are going to have vulvar pain.
Yeah.
And like, like, what the heck? With
Yeah.
most of that being provoked, right? So unprovoked would be like, it's just hurting all the time, no
Yeah.
matter what. But provoked pain would be when someone's touching it or something.
Yeah.
Like, tight, you can't wear tight jeans or definitely not a thong.
Well, that was the other thing. We're not going to get, we'll wrap up, but that was the
Fast.
other thing. My mom said to me when I started going through all this, she was like, you would never wear jeans. She's like, you could never wear jeans. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pay attention to the things, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's wrap up with some fun questions.
Let's hear it.
And yeah, I'm excited. So okay, so first of all, what are you feeding your mind with right now? Like what are you listening to or reading or anything like that?
So I was in the middle of so I'm growing pretty quickly as a business and I want to hire in the next
Yay.
year. So
Yay.
I'm doing a lot of like behind the scenes work to prep myself to be the best version of me that I can be to support a person coming onto my team. So I'm reading the crap. Well, then I left the book at my mom's house when I went to visitors. So I'm not reading anything right now because I left my book. But it's like the 7 types of genius, the 7 types of working genius, 5 types of working genius or something like that to learn about
love it.
how the different types of employees that you can have and like how to find the things that they're best at to best utilize them and like make them feel the most fulfilled in their job because they're not going to feel fulfilled doing stuff that they are crappy at.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
So something my business coach was recommending it. So,
oh my gosh, I'm excited. What
but,
brings you joy?
Lots of things. I'm very like, I get excited about easily.
Why we're going to be friends.
Yeah, I get excited about a lot of things. I mean, I really like, are we talking about like food? Are we talking about like doing
Whatever.
Stuff? I don't know. I really like finding things on sale. Like
that would bring me joy too. Yes, I love it.
It's really fun. Like thrift store shopping. You're like, yes, look at $2.
Oh my gosh.
The buy sell trade groups here have been like litty. So
That's so funny.
I like DIY projects. I like
yeah.
tools. I like sushi, like hiking and my dogs, my fiance.
We're gonna go to sushi. I just decided. We're gonna go sushi. I love it. What do you say to yourself to keep going when things get tough?
I guess that like your track record of making it through tough times is 100% so far. And like, it's just like, I think that I've been through a lot of crazy, difficult things in my life. And it's like, definitely nothing compared to some of the stuff I've done already. Like, I'm just like, this is nothing. This is like, just what's the next, like, I don't really view it as like an obstacle, more as like, this is a speed bump, or like, this is like something I just need to overcome. And like, I'll just find a way around this obstacle. Like, it's just another like, that's annoying. It's just an annoyance.
Yeah.
At this point, it's not like,
I love that.
It's like, this is another thing. I just need to work it. I find a way to work around it and then just be done.
Oh, I love that. Okay. What's a piece of advice you've been given, like a favorite piece of advice you've been given or you give to other people? You've already given us so much tonight.
Yeah, I just like to keep on the topic, I guess, would be like the longer you wait, the harder it is for me and you to fix it. To come in and see me.
Oh my gosh, that's such good advice.
My job's so hard.
It's very convicting. Got it. Okay, I heard you. I got it. See you. Okay, and then I feel like everything you shared tonight are the products, but like what's a favorite product that you can't live without?
Oh God. I don't know, like power tools.
Yeah, that's right. You said that. I love that.
I mean, you always need them.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Coffee. Oh, my espresso machine. That's
okay. She's like my espresso machine.
That's it. That's the thing.
I get that a lot. People say coffee a lot. That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I'm pregnant. Like that's.
Oh, yeah, you'll be okay. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It'll just be a road bump. Just a speed bump. That's all it is. Well, Rachel, this was so enlightening, so wonderful. And I just feel like, I feel very equipped to kind of tackle this fresh and new. And I just really hope people look you up and go find you.
The moral of your story is that like, you never stopped advocating for yourself.
It's huge.
That's especially when you get dismissed by a provider, find a new one. There's more. Like, I don't care. it doesn't matter. Like someone made you feel powerless in your pain, in your body, in your life, like go find a different one. There's a dime a dozen providers, like find a new one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's, and in fact, it's funny that you brought that up because I meant to say that earlier too, is like, if you know something's not right, something's probably not right. So go look into it and keep going. I love that. I think that as a parent, we will do it easily for our children when we're like, no, this isn't what's going on. Something's not right. But we kind of stop for ourselves sometimes. So yeah, I love that.
Don't stop.
Good reminder. Don't stop, everyone. Keep going.
Painful sex. Like we got stop it. We gotta have nice sex.
Oh my gosh. Well, I appreciate you so much. I'm so glad we did this. It feels like this big, huge, like thing I finally got out into the world. And I hope it helps somebody. And I know you're really good in DMs. So you guys go send Rachel a DM, ask her questions.
Awesome.
I love it.
You guys, thank you. Oh no.